My name is Bella. I am a hot dog stall owner in San Francisco. I noticed that the prices of ingredients for my grilled goods like meat patty and sausage have been rising steadily. Now I am facing a dilemma. I have to adjust the price tags because of the changing costs. But my customers start questioning the higher prices of my cakes and pastries. So how can I explain why these changes are necessary to my customers?
If you are Bella, what would you say to persuade your customers? Today, we are going to learn how to initiate a discussion around the phenomenon of rising prices. First, let's look at a story together, which includes all the words we're going to learn today.
As Emily and David walked through the bustling market, they noticed that the prices of goods were increasing rapidly, a clear sign of inflation impacting the economy. As avid consumers, they were concerned about their diminishing purchasing power due to the rising costs. The limited supply of essential items only heightened the situation, causing a surge in demand from others trying to stock up. Emily, who relied on her regular income from her job, wondered how monetary policy set by the central bank could control this economic challenge. David, on the other hand, pondered the effectiveness of fiscal policy in managing tax rates during such times of financial strain. As they navigated the bustling market, they discussed the potential risks of deflation if the situation worsened. Reflecting on the country's GDP, which is short for gross domestic product, they worried about the impact of these rising prices on overall economic performance. The increasing unemployment rate they had heard about only added to their concerns, wondering how it would affect their community. David, with a recent loan, was also anxious about the high interest rate he was paying, given the uncertain economic climate. Emily mentioned the possibility of hyperinflation if the situation spiraled out of control, leading to significant financial instability. Amidst the chaos, they also discussed the influence of commodities on the market, with fluctuations in prices affecting everyday consumers like themselves. As they concluded their shopping trip, they hoped to navigate the challenges of stagflation, striving to make informed decisions in a complex economic landscape.
Now, let's explore today's key words in economic terms. Today, we're going to delve into some fundamental economic terms that impact our everyday lives and the global economy. We'll categorize these terms into broader and more specific groups to better understand their relationships. Let's start with economic conditions. This category includes general states like inflation or unemployment. First up, inflation. This term refers to an increase in the price level of goods and services, which decreases the purchasing power of our currency. Have you ever heard about inflation in the news or at home when discussing shopping or prices? When grocery prices increase, that's a direct effect of inflation. And there are extreme forms of inflation called hyperinflation. This occurs when prices skyrocket rapidly, and the currency loses value extremely quickly. A historical example is Zimbabwe in the late 2000s, where the rate of inflation was so high that prices would double every 24 hours. On the flip side, we have deflation, which is the decrease in general price levels. While it might sound good, it can lead to decreased economic activity as people delay purchases, hoping prices will fall further. Japan experienced this during the 1990s, leading to what's known as the lost decade. Moving on to economic policies, which include monetary policy and fiscal policy. Monetary policy is how the central bank controls the money supply and interest rates to manage economic stability. An example is the Federal Reserve in the U.S., reducing interest rates during a recession to encourage borrowing and spending. Fiscal policy, on the other hand, involves government spending and tax policies. When the government increases spending and cuts taxes to boost the economy, it's using fiscal stimulus. This was seen in the 2009 American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. Now, let's talk about market dynamics, which involves supply, demand, and the overall market. These concepts explain how prices are set. If demand for a product increases but supply remains the same, what do you think happens to the prices? Yes, prices go up. And that's fundamental to understanding market fluctuations. For instance, during the holiday season, the demand for toys increases, leading to higher prices. Now, think about a scenario involving a sudden change in supply or demand, like a new technology or a crop failure. What would be the effect on prices? Imagine a new technology emerges that significantly increases the demand for a specific raw material, like lithium used in batteries for electric vehicles. If the supply of lithium doesn't increase at the same rate as the demand, the price of lithium would likely rise. This is because more consumers are competing for the same amount of resources, driving up prices due to heightened demand. And let's consider a situation like a crop failure, where the supply of a staple crop like corn drastically decreases due to drought or disease. If the demand for corn remains constant, but there is less corn available, the price of corn will increase. This is because there is less of the product available and still a high demand, leading to higher prices as consumers compete for the limited supply. In both scenarios, the sudden change leads to a price adjustment as the market seeks a new equilibrium between supply and demand. If the demand increases but supply remains constant, prices rise. Conversely, if supply decreases but demand remains constant, prices also rise. These price changes then have ripple effects throughout the economy, affecting related goods and services, consumer spending, and even monetary policies. A specific market example is the commodity market, which deals with goods like oil, coffee, and metals. These commodities are traded internationally, and their prices can be very volatile. The price of oil, for instance, affects everything from gasoline prices to the cost of manufacturing plastics. Next, we're going to explore some key economic indicators that economists use to assess the health of an economy. These are gross domestic product or GDP, the unemployment rate, and interest rates. Understanding these will help you not just in economics, but in making informed decisions in your personal and professional lives. Let's start with gross domestic product, or GDP. This is the total value of all goods and services produced within a country over a specific period, usually a year. It's like the scorecard of a country's economic performance. Next, we'll look at the unemployment rate. This measures the percentage of the labor force that is unemployed but actively seeking employment. It's a crucial indicator of economic health. What do you think happens to the unemployment rate during a recession? During a recession, the unemployment rate typically increases. This happens because businesses face lower consumer demand and may experience financial pressures, which leads them to reduce costs by cutting back on their workforce. As companies lay off employees and freeze hiring, more people become unemployed. This increased unemployment rate is one of the most visible signs of a recession and reflects the economic slowdown's impact on the labor market. Finally, we'll discuss interest rates. This is the percentage charged on borrowed money. Banks set interest rates for loans, which can affect everything from your personal loans to the growth of the entire economy. So how central banks use interest rates to control inflation. When inflation is high, central banks may increase interest rates. Higher interest rates make borrowing more expensive, which can reduce spending and investment by businesses and consumers. This decreased demand can help slow down the rate of inflation. Conversely, if the economy is sluggish and inflation is low, central banks might lower interest rates to make borrowing cheaper. This encourages more spending and investment, which can help increase demand and push prices up, countering deflationary pressures. Great job today, everyone! By understanding these economic terms, you're better equipped to interpret news, make informed decisions, and understand the economic forces at play in your daily life. For practice before the class, please complete the dialogue by utilizing the words we have learned today. Now, it's your turn.